Hey, this is Don from Padlock Technologies with another video. Today we're going to do a blackboard or whiteboard video about sham links. Now, sham links is an OSPF and MPLS technique where you're going to do some traffic engineering. So I'll explain it a little bit more on the whiteboard here. But after this video, you're pretty much going to know what a sham link is. And then this is just theory. And then I'm going to do a lab actually demonstrating and showing you the sham link concept in lab form. Now, I do have a favor to ask you. If you get any value from this video, please don't forget to share, comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. I got plenty of videos on here where you're going to learn a lot of stuff. So if you're interested in learning tech and not just, one vendor, multiple vendor tech, subscribe to the channel. With that being said, let's get to the lab. All right, so we're at the whiteboard here, and we're going to talk about OSPF Sham link. Now, most people don't know about sham link, right? Most people, they know about virtual link, right? And what a virtual link is basically you're going to extend area zero on non-area zero attached networks. So basically what you would do is if you had area 1 and area 2 touching each other and area 2 is touching area 0, we're going to have a problem, right? Because everything has to touch area 0 from an OSPF standpoint. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a link and extend area 0 through area 2 so that you can fix the problem with not having two areas attached to area 0. And again, that is kind of a band-aid. Let me get that out the way too. That is a band-aid technique for bad design. If you design it wrong, you're going to have that problem. If you actually focus on design first and make sure the design is right, then you don't have to do those band-aids to fix bad design. But with that being said, let's talk about the sham link. So from a sham link perspective, we're going to just draw some OSPF in here, or an MPLS network. Let me not say some OSPF. So let's just say this is our MPLS network, right? And here's PE1, and this is PE2. And then we're going to have our CEs down here, or CPEs, depending on who you ask. All right. Which stands for Customer Provider Edge, and PE stands for Provider Edge. So let's say we got that, right? Now we are running OSPF here as your PE to CE link, our protocol. We're running it there. And then we have a link here that is also running OSPF. Now, from PE to CE, we know, or if you haven't known, I do have some videos on that as well, but from PE to CE, when those routes come in, they're going to be coming in as OIAs, so inter-area routes. Now, they're going to come in as that because technically, behind the scenes, when you configure the process ID, it configures the domain ID as the same. So let's say the domain ID is 1, right? Ultimately, that's what it looks like behind the scenes. Now, you can change the domain ID to have a different number. And what will happen is if you do that, they will turn into E1 routes, or E2 routes, sorry, E2s. So they will show up as E2s because E2s are the default external routes, right? That's what the number is going to be, or the metric by default, are E2s. So what would you use a sham link for? So let's say this link here you wanted to use as a backup, right? But you mainly wanted to use MPLS to get to this site for some reason, right? MPLS is expensive. You want to utilize the more expensive link, and then use OSPF, the backdoor link, technically as a backup. So what the sham link will do is all because these routes here that are coming from the CE on the backdoor link, these are going to be your O routes, right? O routes normally, right? Depending on how you configure OSPF, but they should be your intra-area routes. So because if you look at OSPF best path selection, intra, enter, E1, E2, N1, N2s. In terms of path selection, it is going to always prefer, let's say, let me put a 1 next to this CPE and 2. So CPE1 is always going to prefer these routes over these routes, right? Just because of OSPF best path selection. And it's not really, you can try to adjust costs, all that stuff doesn't really matter, right? Just because these are O's and these are intra area. You know what? That intra looks kind of nasty. So let's write this a little bit better. Okay. So these are intra. These over here are inter. Okay, inter area. So because CE1 is always going to prefer this route, the backdoor route, and you don't want that, right? And this is something you might get asked to do in a test or in a lab or in real life. You may get asked to do this in real life, but for the most part, you're probably going to see this in like a lab question or something like that. So because of this, you want to manipulate the routes coming from the MPLS network. And I flat out forgot to put MPLS here. You want the routes coming from the MPLS network to look like intra-area routes. Now, technically, without the sham link, you can't do this, all right? Because it's just how MPLS works with OSPF as the PECE protocol. So what you got to do is use this thing called a sham link that will manipulate the routes coming from MPLS as, you know, intra-area routes. So basically, what this really looks like behind the scenes is there's going to be another loop back in here that's going to be in the same VRF. So let's say we'll do loopback 1, and we'll have loopback 1 in here, right? And then you're going to configure a command that basically says sham link, area whatever sham link. And when we get to the lab in my next video, I'll show you what that actually looks like. But what that sham link is going to do is basically create a link between the two loopbacks, right? And then any route that is coming through that sham link is now going to be seen as an O route or intra-area route. Now, what does that allow you to do at that point? Well, it allows you now to do traffic manipulation based on costs, right? So now, let's say I want to create this backdoor link as a backup. I'm going to make the cost higher on this end for this link. And I'll just do cost higher than, and then do cost lower here. And then all my routes from an OSPF standpoint are going to go, let's say I have a network back here, a network back here. Going forward, all my routes are going to go this way instead of, use green, instead of going through the backdoor link. Okay, so that allows you to use the more expensive MPLS link, and then if MPLS goes down for any reason, based on routes disappearing and convergence, now you're going to go through that backdoor link. And that's basically the whole entire point of using a sham link. It's just literally manipulating the MPLS routes for OSPF only. This does not work with EIGRP or nothing like that. This is strictly an OSPF thing. You want to utilize MPLS over your backdoor OSPF link. And that's really it. So I didn't get a question on that, and that's why I created this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the theory of it. I know a lot of people, especially when I first started learning, it was like, oh my God, I gotta go through theory. Yes, you need to go through theory because it gives you the why, the purpose, right? And then after you learn the theory and you go do it in the lab, it makes more sense. It clicks a lot faster when you understand the theory. If you just configure and then try to figure out from there, you kind of you'll get it, but it'll take longer. So I hope you appreciate this video. This is Don from Padlock Technologies again. If you haven't already, like I said before, you want to learn more stuff, multi-vendor stuff, some cool stuff, please don't forget to share, comment, like, and subscribe to this channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's build this community. And here's to a new year. Thank you and have a nice day.